right, what I want you to do here is you're going to do 500 meters. I want you to build up 500 meters off the bat. If you're trying to get it in your head, 500 meters. If you are on the tread is going to be for 500. Let me do the math in my head real quick. 0.12. You're going to do I just did the math. I know, right? It's just like totally blanked on me right now. I think it's 0.31. 0.31 on the tread. It's 0.31 on the tread. On the row, it's 500. On the bike, it's, you normally do 0.7 for 400. 0.9 on the bike. So all I want you to do here is I want you to do a build-up one here as we're going along with this. So just kind of need to start slow moderate, but I need you to already kind of be intentional in building on this one. Because to give you ideas, your cardio ones later will be 500 meter efforts. So I just want you to start going right here now and just getting a little used to, like, all right, building your way up. Here, just kind of filling it out here and just get an idea of how long this kind of roughly takes you to do. I know it's a build-up one, but just to pay some attention to what it takes pace-wise to get you through on this 500. Once we do this, I'm going to kind of start walking us through some floor movements. And to give you an idea how it is going to work is it's going to be kind of alternating back and forth between kind of like these 500 meter efforts mixed with a little bit of kind of, challenging position-wise movements to then a challenging floor movement on the floor. So there's going to be kind of this back and forth as we go along. But I'll kind of feed you a little more details of that here as we go. But just remember kind of these next 2 weeks what it's look like. Hey, we're saying give you good general programming here where it's not going to be very specific 6-week building program that we normally give for you here just because with these 2 weeks with spring break and everything. So we're saying give you just good 2 weeks of general overall fitness workouts here, but not like a specific building one as we may normally do with you if we had a little longer period. But that's what these next 2 weeks are going to do. So I'm saying if you can build up here and working until you finish out your 500. Remember, that's going to be 0.31 if you're on the tread, 0.9 if you're on the bike, and just 500 once you're on the rower. Kind of once the first person starts hopping off, I'll kind of start walking you through a little bit of what you're going to start doing for some floor work to keep you warming up. As you're finishing, what I want you to do here is you're going to do 5 aside of an overhead lunge step, but I want you to do it with your hands. I want you to pull your thumb back so it's pointing straight behind you, core tight, and you have 5 aside of an overhead lunge step. And I said this is going to be a movement that is going to show up later. So let's try it right now. Lock out the arms, pull the thumb back to lock that shoulder in place. Can you get the full range of motion as you go through on that lunge? And I want you to do 5 aside of the overhead. After you do that, I want you to go through 10 push-ups. Now through 5 aside of that overhead, see if we can drive, lock out the elbow, thumb pulled back, wrapping the shoulder into place. And then I want you to go through 10 push-ups. Once you finish the 10 push-ups, I want you to head back to your cardio. I want you to do 250 meters. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Kind of keep spinning up here and increase the pace now as you go along. We're going to head back to your cardio now. I want you to go for 250. So that's 0.15 on the tread, 0.4, 0.5 on the bike. I won't fight you on which one you decide to do. I'll let you choose which one you want to get out of it. We're going to go back and now you're going to go for 250 here, and I want you to kind of start spinning up a little bit more here on the pace as we go along. We're going to keep building here as we go. Said 250.15 here on the tread. And I said about it'd be 0.45 on the bike. I'll let you kind of round up or down depending how you're feeling and wanting here on your warm-up. So, build intensity. Then said, once you finish here on the 250, I'll just kind of let you know, you'll then come back to the floor, in which you're going to do 10 more push-ups, and then we're going to try a little bit of that weight now in that overhead lunge. And I'll talk about kind of ways we can play with it position-wise, or the variation we can do. But first I want you to hop off. We're going to go through 10 push-ups. We're going to go through 10 push-ups. Once you finish the 10 push-ups, so now you're going to have this overhead lunge. I want you to do this with your dumbbells, the pair of dumbbells that you have. And what we're looking for here is, what we'd like to see if you can you say the same thing, kind of like wrapping your thumbs back, elbows locked out, arms in a good position, go through 4 side here on this lunge step. Now, some of you know that as we've done this in the past, you'd be like, hey, I can't hold a good overhead position. You know, we've talked about this before. The ways you can modify here is, if you can do this, I want you to do this. Not because it's hard, it's if you just can't hold that position bent, you can bring one down to your shoulder and keep the other one extended as a modification. Do 4 in a row lunges and then switch to the other side if needed to too. But I want you to try it here with the arms locked out. Now, if you do the right arm, if you're lunging with your left leg, that'll give you a little more mobility through the shoulder. And then I want you to go through 10 kettlebell swings here. Then go through 10 kettlebell swings. You see a little dynamic now through the hips. So after that, it said 10. So this should have been loaded. It said for 30. So this is okay. This will warm you up now as we go. Yep, we're going through 10 here on the kettlebell. All right, and the last one is, I asked everyone to grab this kind of heavier dumbbell then. It's a gentleman 40, 45, ladies 25 to 30. What you're going to be doing this with is going to be a single arm clean and press. So how it's going to work is when Amy grabs hers, she's going to get herself set up, and this is going to be from the floor. So she can kind of put it in a centered position if she would like, where she can go from the middle, back flat that she's going to touch. She's going to clean it to her shoulder with a dip into a push press. And then she does a quick dip, press overhead. If you want to, you can also have a little more narrow, and if you can hang it to the side, you just need to make sure you're keeping the core centered and we don't twist. I want you to try 3 aside of this. 3 aside, they said touch, snap up to the shoulder from the ground, said touches the ground to the overhead, touches the ground to the overhead. So I think as you bring it to the ground, core tight, doesn't rotate to the shoulder, push to the overhead.
Okay. You think you can do 30 for this? Yeah, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah, you guys can do that. So on that clean to press, what I would like you to do is, I want this to be heavy for around 5 aside of this. I want you to think of that. So if you need to change weight here, you can play with it. But I would like to think that we want it to be heavy for around 5 on that clean and press. So I kind of put the guesstimated one on the board, just a general one to go for. But I'm going to let you think on that for a second if you want to change off of what you just warmed up with. But as you're doing this, how this work is going to work is it's going to be 3 minutes on with 2 minutes rest that might become, we're going to say, extra work time if needed. How it's going to work is you're going to alternate between these 2 different sections. Your first section, you'll have 500 meters. Then in the remaining time, you need to get 10 aside of an overhead lunge step. So what this might look like, and probably will look like, is you will eat into your rest. Because I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do a 500, and then you also have to do your 10 aside of that lunge step in the overhead position. So if you are 3 minutes, you're not done, you will just work into your rest. So this might become, okay, the rest is starting to disappear on me as we go. Then, after that 2 minutes, you're going to come out. You're going to have 30 kettlebell swings plus 10 of a double push-up burpee. And you want to demo this? So, how it's going to work, she's going to go down for her burpee on the bottom. She's going to go down, but she's going to have to add another push-up. So she's going to come up, she has another push-up, then she comes up to the top on the burpee. So 10 of a double push-up burpee, and then you have 8 aside of your clean and press. Same thing. You will have 3 minutes to get that done. If you aren't done in the time, you will work over into your rest. We'll have 6 total rounds, or 3 alternating between the 500 and overhead lunge step, and then the kettlebell swing, overhead lunge, and the burpees. Then at the end, we're going to have a fun little bonus round that I'll explain once we get there. Don't worry about that. You need to think right now, 500 meters, 10 of the overhead lunge step. I'm tentatively giving you 3 minutes, but you will have the 2 minutes of rest to work into it.
10 per side or 10 total?
10 per side on the overhead lunge step. It is 10 per side on the overhead lunge step. I'm going to get these clocks set up for you here. So the idea is we're going to get you, you're going to get fatigued, and we're going to challenge you in that overhead position. See if you can maintain as we go. So getting clock set up. Remember, 0.31, 500, 0.9 for the distances. All right, 6. We're going to get you rolling here. In 10 seconds. Yeah, so I said you have to be aggressive here on this 500, just a heads up. You're going in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Because you got to think like, hey, you know, if you've done, you said the other day, if you're doing your 400s and you can do those in, 90 seconds or something for a chance we go through that, think that. If I added another 100 pace-wise, that's only going to bring me up to, I don't know, a minute 50 or something with that, maybe 2 minutes, if you kept that exact same pace. So that can give you a little bit of idea now here of like, hey, I know what I did for 400s and could get in. If I hold that here for 500, that's going to put me in a pretty good spot, actually. So that's what this first was going to be kind of establishing, like, hey, I'd recommend trying to hold that 400 pace that we kind of worked on Monday, getting an idea of that. Because the 100 isn't going to tag on as much time as you think if you can hold that same pace. So give you an idea as you're moving here, this puts you a minute, this is going to put you a minute in right now. And remember, after this, you're going to go to the tennis side of the overhead lunge. And the challenge on that intentionally is it is going to be a hard position to hold as you are out of breath. That is a challenge. And I'm going to ask you to keep the overhead position and don't just bring it down to your shoulders because it's hard. But I'm going to ask you to work with that overhead position once you get there. Alright, so this puts you halfway right now. This puts you at 90 seconds. This is halfway. So you should be getting an idea here, kind of as we're going, like, alright. So once you get off, it is 10 aside on that overhead lunge. And I'm going to challenge you position-wise. Working the overhead. If you can do the overhead, you warmed up in the overhead and it was fine. I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself to keep that overhead still as we go through. All right, so it said we're to 50 cents. Remember, I want to challenge you with this. Don't make it to the shoulders and say, oh, I got the time, it's harder now. If you can do the overhead, you've done the overhead, let's do it. Perfect. Awesome. Now, brace and control. It's 10 aside. It said, yes, it is 30 seconds left. But you can work into the next 2 minutes. So don't try to rush that position. Really try to think, Pat, really lock those elbows, drive those elbows, Pat. There we go. Yep, think you're kind of wrapping that thumb back, elbows locked out here all the way through. And then the next thing is once you're through that, now you have to make sure that core is staying engaged. It's going to be easy to try arching through the back to help with that mobility through it. But we need to put that spine in a good position all the way through here. We're going to be working here into our next 2 minutes still. So now you're working into your next 2 minute section. Still think position, it said. Hold the position all the way through. Good here, keep working. You said you use the full 2 minutes as you need on this. Alright, so you have about 90 seconds left here on it. How the next one's going to work now, I said it's going to be 30 kettlebell swings, 10 of the double push-up burpee, and then 8 aside of that, said clean from the ground and press. And the idea is that clean should be heavy, said for around 5 aside. 10 of the double push-up burpees. Remember the double push-up? You're gonna go down, you come up, then you have to do your another push-up, then you can stand up here. So it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna take a little bit of the momentum out of it. But it's down, add another push-up, then stand up at the top here. But you will start with the kettlebell swings. Same thing here. If it has to work over in the 2 minutes. Nothing wrong with it. We're going to 2 minutes. You still have about 40 seconds here, so the idea is you will, and should be aggressive here that you have to. But we're giving you the 40 seconds so you can sprint it as we go. So you have 20 seconds to answer yourself. You're going to start with your kettlebell swing. You're going to start with your kettlebell swing. All right, you're on here in 3, 2, 1, and here. So you have 30 kettlebell swings to start. 30 kettlebell swings here to start. See here, hey, can you get all the way through here now? You do the 30 unbroken here on the kettlebell swing. Yeah, working to get through the 30 unbroken. So once you finish the 30 here, it's on to those double push-up burpees. Yep, you're out of those said. You go down, add that extra push-up, then come up, add the tap. Double push-up every time. You have 10 on the double push-up burpees. Still got about 9 seconds, still got 90 seconds here. And it's going to be 8 aside, so all the way to the ground, snap it up to the shoulder and press. You got 8, the clean, and then that press. Shoulder, press overhead, touch, and press. We're going to take shoulder blades back, let it squat down, keep the back flat, keep the back flat. That's everything on these cleans. As you drop that dumbbell back from your shoulder, really think about pulling the shoulder blades back in the core tight. Don't let it just pull you to the ground. I want you to control it as you get down with it. So 8, touch, snap it up to the shoulder, press it overhead. Still got 20 seconds here, still got 20 seconds here, and then you still got that 2 minutes as needed. Good, you have 5 seconds here, still got 5 seconds here still. As I said, now we're going to be working here into your 2 minutes, working here into your 2 minutes. One side and then the other side. Good, all right. So now you get off. And then we're going to be going back to the 500 meter here. One thing I want to say with the dumbbell cleans is that I think this is my bad. I think I've underestimated how strong you guys are. I I'll want it heavy for the 5, that like if you just went through the 8, like yeah, I got through 8, I want you to go heavier. That's on me, I underestimated how strong you guys are. So good on you guys. But I do want to make sure, as I said, you're only doing 2 more rounds of each one of these. You're only going to do 2 more on that one, and 2 more of the 500 meters. So I'm going to throw that out there because I want to make sure you get the right feeling out of this. It's not like, oh yeah, 2 minutes, yeah, okay, that's great. Don't really need it that much. I want so you want this rest time when you do have the rest time. As you know, I want to make sure I'm getting you exactly what you want to be getting out of this potently. You have 45 seconds here. Then we're going back to the 500. Remember, you have that 500 meter, then 10 aside here on that overhead. So 30 seconds here. So you should have an idea now, like, hey, how aggressive do I need to be in this? And remember, get to the overhead lunge step, and it's not, oh, I'm going to bring it down to my shoulder because of time. It's, hey, nope, I'm going to challenge myself to work with that position. That's the goal, is get you tired, and can you handle that hard, very specific position when you're fatigued once we get there. You're going to be going here in 5 seconds again. You're on in 3, 2, 1, and here we go, 6. So you should have a pretty good idea now off that first one, like, hey, okay, you know, I worked over into it. If at this pace, I went a little slow to get, you know, you should have a pretty good picture now of what you're looking to do here with this. Alright, so then I put you through your first 30. So you should have a pretty idea when you look at it, like, hey, what am I looking at here for that, you know, what's the pace, and what do I want for my overall time here? What makes me feel good? Like, hey, if I get done with a minute left, I'll have to work 30 seconds in my 2 minutes. All right, perfect. All right, you know, have that game plan a little bit now off of that first round. All right, 6, this is putting you a minute in right now. This is putting you a minute in right now. So you should be idea of like, hey, kind of evaluating, like once you get to like 250, the halfway, how's it looking? Is it where you want to be at with this? Yeah, look at it, get yourself an idea here. Good. 90 seconds left, 90 seconds, so that's halfway here on the 3. That's halfway here on the 3. So once you have after doing that 10 aside, remember the overhead. So I want to focus here on the position. Work, I said, if you can't do both, try the single arm one. So kind of take that. First, try both arms overhead. That's the main one. If you maintain that, do that. If not, try the single arm variation next. I still want you challenged in that overhead position. Elbows locked out, thumbs are pulled back, you're bracing through the core, and then can you get that full range of motion then with the lunge too. Okay, keep thinking as you're going through this, actively drive to lock up those elbows, especially as you get to the bottom of it. That's where it's going to matter a ton. Because as you go down, it's generally where it's going to kind of start to maybe buckle a little bit, and that's where I want you to focus on it. So brace the core, pull the thumb back, lock up those elbows. Think about the position the entire time. Think about your elbows, think about the arm. Good, this is going to be putting us into our 2 minutes right now. This is into our 2 minutes. Big thing as you get the later reps, keep it braced. Touch, and right back. There we go. So you still have 90 seconds here, you still have 90 seconds working through on this round. Just saying, keep the elbows locked out here on those last couple reps. Good. I said if you finish your rest by set, otherwise you need to work this entire time as you use a full 2 minutes. All right. We have about minute 10 here. Then we're going to be going back to the floor one. So remember, 30 kettlebell swings, 10 of the double push-up burpee, and 8 aside of the clean and press. And this is already going to put us 2/3 of the way through. So it's only 3 of each here as we go. So you're already getting yourself here through 2/3 as we go here. So you got about 50 seconds here. Kind of get yourself ready. You should have an idea, like unbroken on the kettlebell swings, how to manage those burpees, and then my position here on that clean and press, especially if we jumped up in the weight, kind of as I asked. But like I said, be a time stressor, because you should need this. This should be, I want and need the rest that I have here. All right, you can start getting yourselves a little bit, ready here. So you have 20 seconds before we start here on the kettlebell. You're on in 5, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So you're into the kettlebell now. So remember, 30. 30 is the number. So you should be thinking, okay, can I get through this unbroken here? So that's the first piece of this every time is, can I get through the kettlebell swings unbroken? Yep, see if you can hold on. Can you get through the full 30 unbroken? Can you hold on for the full 30 here first? Then once you finish that, into the double push-up burpees. Once you get through that, then you're into those double push-up burpees. So that puts us a minute in. That puts us a minute in now. See, that tricky here is, can you kind of still find that pace here on those double push-up burpees? I know it takes a little bit of momentum out of it here. Let's say, can I still down, up, back down, come up, all right, all the way. Here we go. Good. 90 seconds here, 90 seconds. Okay, so that burpee's a little harder. See that little momentum take it out of it. We have 10 on the burpee. Then once you finish, it's the clean. Remember, that's gonna be 8 aside. You gotta think. Centered, my back's flat. I touch, snap, clean it up, dip, and press. You still have a minute here. You still have a minute here. Good. So 4 sets of the base thing is, as that dumbbell comes down, you keep your back flat and use your legs. Use those legs to kind of squat down a little more into that clean. But don't make it just pull straight through the back. You can use the quads to bring it up. 20 seconds here. 20 seconds. There we go. Look at that full overhead 2 press there. Block out that elbow at the top. Good. So you still have 2 minutes here. Still have 2 minutes here. one more of each now. You have one more on the 500s on that section, one more on the floor, and then we're going to go into the bonus round. And I'll explain that once we get into the second section here, rest. We'll worry about that once we get to that piece. Otherwise, you just gotta think, hey, I'm working 500 meter here. So you should have a pretty good game plan of how you're gonna get through these next two. You've done it twice now. You know what it's gonna feel like? It's just gonna be, hey, can I keep my position? It's gonna be a little more challenging the overhead, a little more fatigue. Still want you to keep that same one. Don't bring it down to the shoulders now in this third round. If you did overhead before, I want you to keep it in that overhead. Good, you have 30 seconds here, and then we're going for the 500. 30 seconds, and we're gonna be rolling here for your 500. All right, you have 10 seconds, you have 10 seconds. Remember, 500, one more time in this round section. You're going here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go, 6, here we go. So you should know, I shouldn't even have to tell you right now, what your pace wants to be at, how long you want this to take you now to get this 500 in. You should already have a game plan. You already know exactly what you want to do here. Good. So you should have already established here, like you've got to the pace, you're working it here. Now you have your markers like, hey, get through the first 100, get through the first 250, first half. Whereas looking, yes, you have your markers, but it's every 100 for you. I'm on pace, the first 100, next 200. Keeping yourself holding with it here. Well, that's your first minute. That's your first minute. Second half, 250. How's it looking right now? Yeah. Halfway point, you have 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds now. So let's kind of look at it here. What's it looking? Are you going to be on pace? Does the last 100 fall off? You know, let's finish it out here. That's into that 10 overhead lunge. You're coming down to a minute now. That's a minute now. So kind of look here to finish it out on that 500, and then right. Get yourself locked into place here. This is the challenge, is the position. It's not, don't think, hey, I'm going to go to the single-sided now. Nope, you did both arms. Keep it with the both arms. Keep that same challenge. It may take you longer, that's fine, but let's see. Arms like out, core tight. 10 aside again here on the lunge. Lock it in position-wise. Think you're driving, locking the elbows, punching up. You're wrapping that thumb back, and then embracing the core. And then from there, it's, okay, now what's the range of motion look like on my lunge? Am I able to get that back knee to lightly touch? How's this looking for me right now? We're going to be working here now into your 2 minutes of rest. We're working here now into your 2 minutes of rest. So, as I said, if it's going to take you longer, so still stay with it already. Still keep that same one we've done before. It's going to take you longer. It's built that way. That's why we're giving you the full 2 minutes there to work into it as we need. That's the challenge as we're going. So you can't imagine a position. I'm tired, fatigued. I'll take extra time here. But you still have 90 seconds. Still got plenty of time to work. Still have plenty of time to work here. Yep. Still have plenty of time for the 90 here. So that's the last time on that section. Now you're going to have one more here. And then I said, remember, we do have the bonus one at the end, which I'll explain. But now it's going to be, hey, one more time. We got the 30 cowbell, the burpee push-up, the clean and press. All right. I have my kind of game plan here, what's it looking like. You have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. So you have everything in here, okay? 30 kettlebell. Can I keep it unbroken? Is your first piece. First one is, can I do that, or do I have to take a quick break there? And then you can do it section by section here to finish up. 10 seconds here for 6. 10 seconds for you. We're gonna be on here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go, and here we go. So you should be thinking in your head now, like, okay, can't get through it. Get through the first 10, cool, I'm still holding on. Next 10, all right, I'm still doing good. Try to get through these 30 cowbell swings unbroken here for your time. See if we can get through the 30 here on the time. Kind of keep managing this on this kettlebell. Get through those last 10 to 5 where it starts to kind of get a little harder here. I want you to hold on to it. Then you're going into your double push-up burpees. Then you're going to that double push-up burpee for you. So you're coming down here in about 90 seconds to the idea. It's about 90 seconds. So you can have an idea of where you've been at pace-wise before. So right after this one, you're going to have to focus a little more on that position here, on that clean and press. It's going to be, like I said, a lot more technical as we move through with it. So let's think, we'll just work through the burpee here. This is, not a little less technical here, just adding that double push-up. But then you have to lock it in. You have to work a lot more position once we get into 8 aside here on the clean and press. I'm not gonna find it, hypnotized, stuck inside my mind because you gotta be so. Start. Add that bend in the knees, keep that back flat still, snap through the hips, get to the shoulder. Then you gotta use the hips again for that quick dip and press. Yep, snap it up, quick dip and press. There we go. Down and up. Here we go. Keep it up. So we're going to use the legs on the way down. Brace the core. Catch as you go down. 8 on each side. So you have about 20 seconds here in this original 3. And remember, you got the 2 minutes working into the rest. Now let's see, he said manage the position here. Keep the back flat. Doesn't start to twist. I don't start to let just pull through my back here. You're moving into your 2 minutes of rest. You're working here into your 2 minutes of rest. Good, you have plenty of time. Still got plenty of time here. Keep the form locked in. Keep that form locked in. Sit back. quick dip after you catch it on the shoulder. That quick dip after you catch it on the shoulder here. Keep working. You still got 90 cents. Still have 90 seconds here. All right. How this last one is going to work is you're going to have a 4-minute cap to get it done. You will have 500 meters. You will have 10 total of your overhead lunge step. You'll have 10 kettlebell swings, and you'll have 5 aside of your clean and press. You'll have 4 minutes. This will be your last one. 500 meters, 10 total overhead lunge, 10 kettlebell swing, 10 total on the clean and press. Yep, 10, 10, 10. Yep, that's an easier way to think of it. Huh? Overhead lunge step. Yep, so yeah, the simplest is just 10. Yeah, 10 of everything, 10 total. 10 total of everything, so 10 total lunge, 10 total kettlebell swings, and then 10 total on the clean and press. You have 4 minutes. This is the last piece for you here. Last piece for you here. All right, 6. We're going to get you rolling here in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and here we go, and here we go. Yes, it's like, all right. So, can you do this 500 at the same pace you've already done it in? So I'm going to tell you now. Can you get this done here in at least the same time you have done it for the first 3? That should be your goal. Good, so everything here working? It said, can you do this in the same pace you did the first 3? Alright, so there you go. I'm putting you 1 minute in. So I'm put you 1 minute in right now. 1 minute in. Is everything okay? How's this looking at my pace I've had normally? How's this comparing to the pace I had before? That's 90 cents, and I'm just going to give you these updates. I said you should give me an idea of what you've done before. What's it looking like here for you? So you have the 4 total minutes here, but you got a little more here on the floor movements. All right, so you're down to 2 minutes now. You're down to 2 minutes now. So 5 aside on the overhead lunge step first. 10 total. Once we get there, it said 10 total on the overhead lunge. Same position you did before. It doesn't change here now. Still think, drive those elbows, lock them out, drive those elbows, lock them out, pull that thumb back. 5 aside, 5 aside, 10 total on the overhead lunge step. After you finish that, you will then roll into 10 total on the kettlebell swing, and then 10 total on the clean and press. So you're under 90 seconds, under 90 seconds. All right, you're coming down here. You're at about a minute. You're at about a minute right now. Did you see everything okay? What's this looking like? You're down to 45, down to 45. 5 aside, nope. 10 kettlebell swing, then you had 10 total on the clean and press, then you had 10 total on the clean and press here. You have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. Down to 20, down to 20 here. Down to 10 cents, down 10 cents. See if you can fish out here through the 10 total. Final 5, 3, 2, 1. And rest there, 6. Yeah, fish out there if you got a last rep. If you want to fish out, work over, fish out, it's awesome. Won't stop you there, won't stop you there. Then catch your breath, 6. Good work. I said, kind of rest of the week here. Said Thursday, Fridays, same thing. Said strength tomorrow, Metcon on Friday for you. Said we're gonna keep following. Said good general overall workouts here, but it's not gonna be very Christina, not very super specific on the program piece. Where it's building for the next six weeks. We'll kind of dig into that once we get back here after this kind of adjusted schedule for the next 2 weeks. Awesome stuff, 6. You were all good. You wiped down everything you brought, that'd be good. Awesome Zoom people. Thank you all for jumping in, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. No problem. Take care, everybody.
Barcelo, is that really right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like much more upright. I agree. Yeah. Squats are so hard to get. You ever want a good way, maybe?
Take care, Janelle.
Are they in state now or is that division state? That game must be state. Right.
It's a burn. I don't know how to check that. Everything else worked fine. It was just doing that thing again where like when I did the thing, it just kept doing a simple press bar, and when I reset it and tried it again during it, it didn't fix it. But the zoom and everything worked. It's the same thing where the video specifically has that connection error, and instead of showing like the recording, it didn't do it. So I like click and it did it again. So I'm just gonna retry it real quick and just see if it does it. Yeah. Okay, so how do I do the zoom stuff? Okay, how do I do that?